today's conversation is about why you're still stuck, even after trying absolutely everything. So, this is what we need to talk about. What actually works to reset your energy, hormones, and your weight, get you, kind of reset into overcoming all those symptoms that you're so frustrated with. So, today we're going to talk about why you are still stuck. Okay. It's so frustrating because people are doing so many things. And I talk to women every single day who are so tuned in to their body and how it's feeling, and they're doing all the things that they think are the right thing to do to help improve those symptoms. But it's really frustrating because you're trying to fix your fatigue, you're trying to improve that energy, that brain focus. There's so much brain fog. Sometimes people are continually gaining weight no matter what they do, or at minimum, they can't lose the weight, they can't get into those fat stores. And they've been struggling with this for 6 months, a year, 2 years. And in some cases, people struggle for decades before getting any kind of help and actually trying to overcome all the symptoms that they're dealing with. And then the worst part of all of this is that we are told that we're just getting older, we're just hormonal, it's just our new normal. There's really nothing to do about it. And it becomes really frustrating because we stay sick and we stay stuck. All right, so I'm just taking a few people here who asked to be tagged for some of these trainings. It's not always working. Let's see here. Nope, doesn't want to agree with me today. All right, well, so here we are. We're going to talk about why you're just not feeling yourself no matter what you're doing, and it just nothing ever seems to work. And I just want to make sure that you understand you're not crazy, you're not lazy, for sure you're not lazy. You're just probably missing a few of the pieces of the puzzle that can change it all for you. Just flip the script. You need basically a full body reset, and you don't need a quick fix. You don't need any specific things like sort of the latest and greatest fad supplements. You don't need another popular probiotic that's been out there that makes you think it's going to resolve all of your problems. You don't need a new diet plan or a new exercise subscription. You need to figure out what is actually going to help work with you rather than against you, because most of us are working against ourselves no matter what we do to try to feel better. All right, so here's what the real problem is. I see this every single week. I have been there myself, and to be honest and completely transparent, I still struggle once in a while. Sometimes they're better than others, okay? But what we see every single week is that people are trying to fix their hormones, but they're not working at dealing with their blood sugar, okay? We see that people are treating their thyroid, but they're ignoring gut inflammation and their gut health symptoms or nutrient deficiencies. People are trying to lose weight. They're doing a calorie restrictive diet plan, but they're living in chronic stress. And if you don't have all of those things in control, you are not going to get to your end goal, okay? But you have to kind of know how to do it. So here's why these sort of single lane approaches do not work for you. When your hormones are out of balance, you're gotta figure out if your stress hormones are in balance too. Because if your sex hormones or your thyroid hormones or whatever aren't in check and not optimized, and if you're running on empty and stressed to the max, it's gonna really be hard to get those hormones in line. If you're taking thyroid meds, but your liver is bogged down, you're drinking alcohol too much, you have really poor gut health, your thyroid meds are not going to do it for you. They're going to help. They'll take the edge off. They'll help balance some things out, but they're not going to get you to overcome a lot of those symptoms with the brain fog, with the anxiety or the depression, as long as those things are out of line. So the liver, the gut health. And let's talk about the weight. The weight won't budge. And then we are told that it's just because our hormones are changed, or just because we're getting older and we should just eat less and exercise more. But if your insulin is unstable and it's not optimal, that's going to be the problem. That's going to keep you from getting into those fat stores and helping you actually overcome that frustrating symptom. So we need to move from this sort of piecemeal operation of trying to patch our health together, like this Frankenstein approach. And we need to get into this sort of reset mindset, but it's got to be a total health, just like the name of the group, the total health reset, right? We struggle and we deal with fatigue in here for sure. We deal with thyroid and thyroid hormones for sure. But we have to walk you through these 5 core health pillars in order for you to overcome these issues. And this is going to look like looking through blood sugar. This controls your energy. It controls your cravings. It also controls other hormones. And if you have not dialed in your blood sugar, and mostly because you've gone to the doctor and you've done your labs and it says your glucose levels are totally in normal range, there's usually a lot more to it than that. There's normal and there's optimal with everything. But if they haven't looked at your A1C, if they have not looked at your fasting insulin, and you struggle with a lot of the symptoms, that I mentioned, brain fog, anxiety, cravings, things like that, chances are you have some blood glucose dysregulation, even if you are not diagnosed diabetic or pre-diabetic. Okay, so if this sounds like you, one of the things in my programs is a continuous glucose monitor program. If that sounds like something you've been wanting to do, reach out. I have the sensors for you. I have the programming for you. I have the live weekly or bi-weekly calls for you to help you understand the data and how to make sure that you can optimize your blood sugar and your insulin. Once you're able to do that, you're going to much better be able to control your energy, your brain fog, your cravings, and get into those fat stores. All right, the next pillar we need to look at is your thyroid support. All right, so your thyroid affects everything in the body. It's told by the pituitary gland in your brain what to do. Dial up the thyroid hormone or dial it down based on what your body is telling it to do or what your thyroid is supposed to do as far as producing hormones. This will affect your mood. This will affect your fatigue. This will impact your metabolism for sure. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to that have hoped and prayed that they have a thyroid imbalance to explain why they can't lose weight or why they randomly gained 40 pounds in a year. So sometimes it will, rarely will it show where there's something out of the normal range, because again, there's normal ranges and then there's optimal ranges. And that is where we struggle with getting help and where we stay stuck when it comes to thyroid health. So one thing I have is a fatigue fix starter kit, and it talks about thyroid rebooting and balancing, and you get nutrient deficiency checklist, and you also get a meal plan involved in that. If you are interested in that, I would like you to say fix in the comments so you can get access to that free starter kit, and that will help you figure out how you get the right testing for your thyroid and get the real information that you need. All right, the next pillar we need to deal with is hormone balance. Okay, so when we talk about hormones, those are the drivers of everything. They're the chemical messengers in our body that help us function and feel like a normal human being. So that could look like your sex hormones, so estrogen, progesterone, testosterone. That can look like your stress hormones. That could be cortisol, the adrenaline, and things like that. And then we can also talk about, of course, the thyroid hormones. So there's lots of things at play, and we need to get those balanced. But when you start in that perimenopause stage, which can happen much earlier than we would like to think. I'm seeing people in their late 20s, early 30s starting with perimenopausal symptoms, and then it starts to go nuts if you have extra stress in your life, if you have some major event happening in your life that causes a lot of stress, that can be catapulted, and it can just be the catalyst for more and more hormonal changes to come. Pregnancy can do it, post-pregnancy, postpartum, any kind of, stressful event or, big event in your life, whether it's physical or something just emotional around in your family or with a job or something like that, that can trigger a lot of these imbalances. So we need to dial that in. All right, the next pillar that we need to really get reset is your gut health. This is something I deal with. I've had just this influx of gut health testing in the last couple of weeks, and it is crazy the stuff that's coming back. But what it does is it tells us why the person feels the brain fog, why they feel extremely tired, why they are bloated the minute they eat something or look at something that they want to eat. That can be remedied by just getting to the basics and getting to your specific needs. You don't just throw in another probiotic. Okay, you can't just throw in a probiotic and think that that is going to solve all your problems. That actually can make things worse sometimes. So really reducing the inflammation in your gut, healing that lining of your gut, that will help improve the absorption. And so you're going to have less nutrient deficiencies if that is the case. And then that's when you start to feel better with energy and brain focus and things like that. It all comes together once your gut is healed and sealed. All right, and the last thing, the last core pillar of all of my programs is resetting the stress response, your stress management system, and your nervous system. Your body is on fire, right? You are in chronic stress mode. That's not how we were designed. We were designed to have this stress response, that fight or flight in situations, right? Just in a few different circumstances, to run away from that proverbial saber-tooth tiger, right? It wasn't meant to be day in, day out, 24/7. That's not how our bodies were designed to function. It does a really good job of helping us do that. But if you're prioritizing creating cortisol and keeping you able to get through the stressful situation, then it's not allowing you to make good thyroid hormone or good cortisol, or I'm sorry, good thyroid hormone or good sex hormones like progesterone. They help calm the body down. So if you're unable to do that because your body is in fight or flight, or maybe even just freeze mode, your body is not going to heal. We need to build resilience in the body in order for that to be corrected, for all of this to come together. So that is why all of my programs, I encompass these core things to help you reset your body so you can actually come out the other side a new person and feel much better. So one example recently that I had a person come in who was exhausted, had horrible brain fog, just couldn't really, barely remember their name. And they were gaining weight, but eating 1,200 calories a day, which is minimal. Okay. So they have downshifted and downregulated their metabolism so bad that they were gaining weight on 1,200 calories. They're a normal average size female, but their doctor just kept on saying, you're just getting older. It's just hormones. This is your new normal. Nothing to do. Everything, all your blood work looks normal. And it's so frustrating because we discovered through the CGM program, the glucose reset, that there was blood sugar crashes happening. She was not able to control her glucose towards the end of the day and through the night. She had low free T3, which is our active thyroid hormone. She had high cortisol. It was bringing her glucose up at night, so she was wide awake, not sleeping. So it just sort of exacerbated all of these symptoms. So after we did all the stuff we needed to do, dialed in the glucose, optimized her thyroid hormone with nutrients and support, stress management system, we went through a gut health protocol to heal and seal her gut so she could absorb nutrients. We were able to balance all this stuff out to be able to reset all of it. She was sleeping again. Her clothes started to fit better. And she was getting her energy back. Like, she couldn't even believe that even happened within a matter of weeks. So if you know what your purpose is or what the goal is, and if you know what we have to do to fix it, if you're looking at the root of the problem, you can actually reset and actually come out the other end feeling so much better. I did this for myself way back when, and this is how I have created everything in my programs, is to come off of that same premise to help you feel and function your absolute best. And if this is something that resonates, if you feel like this, I want you to comment reset below in the comments, because I want to reach out to you and talk to you about what could happen to you in 4 months. How could your life look so different in 4 months when you maybe have been feeling like this for decades? It can happen. I see it all the time. Comment reset if you are ready to do something different and quit putting your health together like Frankenstein, right? We need to put it all together in a nice cohesive process, and this is what I have for you. So that appeals, let me know, comment reset below, and I would love to help you out. All right, have an awesome day.